important. So it's like a journal.
Oh,
You know,
that's awesome.
it's
I'm
like a
glad you feel
journal.
that way. I seem to recall the last time we met, you recorded, and I I was on a tear, if I remember. I told you some pretty cool stuff. I'd love to get that recording, actually.
Yeah,
Maybe I could share it with
yeah,
somebody else.
okay, okay.
Um,
I'm glad you said that
you may or
because
may not have it, which doesn't matter.
because
I'll get on a tear again.
since then, I'm normally very good at uploading things to YouTube or
Mm,
either to Google Cloud or
hmm.
either to my ScreenPile account. Um, but recently I just went through the kids destroyed maybe about four of my five laptops.
Oh
So
my
now when you
gosh,
just
they
said
did.
that, it just kind of hit a trigger. Like,
Oh
I mean, the
no.
memory is still there, but I have to fix them. So I might
Mm.
turn into a little computer repairman real quick, and see what I
The
can.
IT guy.
Yeah,
Oh, I
well,
get
I
it.
need to learn it anyway because when you're dealing with I just feel like the
Hmm.
better you are at hardware as well too, then you kind of have the full
Yeah.
Picasso painting, the full
No, you're
picture.
right. You can do anything if you understand both of
If
those.
you understand both ends,
Yeah,
so
of course
and
you got that. Yeah.
I'm just I don't know, I'm a very positively competitive person, so if
Hmm.
if somebody else can learn it, then I'm like, yeah, I can learn it. Damn it, so I need to do it. It's
That's
just a
pretty
matter
cool.
of
Yeah.
submerging yourself.
So
Even
you're a
better
doer.
if you
You're
can
a
find,
self-doer.
go ahead,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
You're a self-doer. You've kind of taught yourself how to do
Y- Um,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah and no, because I probably could have purchased a little small rinky-dink little house in some cities for the price that I done paid for mentorship. That's how I met
Oh,
you,
sure.
is by
No, you're right about
because I
that. No,
paid for
invest
the
in yourself. No,
you know
it's exactly right. Yeah.
I just one thing that I would say that I feel like I regret with the money that I have spent on a lot of mentorship, and I want to pass that on to people that that's in my proximity or whoever, even outside of it, whoever hears it, it can make an
Mm.
impact for. I really feel like that you at least it's nothing wrong with taking on courses and mentorship, but you really want to weigh and calculate how much important it is for it to be more so one-on-one. And many times I kind of got just a little uh tricked a little bit. I feel
Man,
like
it is so easy. There are so many gurus out there that,
yeah,
they claim to have the sauce and, you know,
yeah, yeah, and they
it's
might have some sauce. I'm not saying they didn't have any sauce.
no,
I'm just
no.
saying that it was angled more like, look, I'm gonna hold your hand until we close out on something,
Right.
and it definitely
I'll tell
wasn't
you what
that.
I learned. What I learned is some of those big gurus, Tim Bratz and Rod Cleef and all these self-styled gurus. I mean, they got thousands of followers. The whole thing is set up for great deals to filter up to the top, right? They all
Mm,
come to Rod. That's why he's got 5,000 doors. I give him a lot of credit. He's marketed the shit out of himself, right? He's really put himself out there and, you know, just been consistent at it, loud noise in the corner, fucking
right.
white noise. You know, I've having dealt with him now, I don't know that I'd ever do anything with him at all. I don't trust him farther than I can toss it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
Wow. Man,
it's all I'm saying is that there are a dime a dozen out there, right?
man, one
And
thing I love
sometimes,
about
yeah,
you, honestly, I really do, genuinely, outside of real estate and all of that, man, you throw punches out there, man. I'll be looking at, I say, oh man, gosh, I'll be loving some of your stuff, man. I say, man,
Darius, I'm
that's a
I'm saying
genuine
this.
person right there that has
I'm
a
saying this from a point of experience. I think I'm in senior living, and I've got five communities. Let's call them facilities. Four of them are operating communities. One of them's kind of sidelined, vacant, looking for a exit path or a way to take another run at it. But we have one in Pittsburgh that was a seller finance deal that I cultivated and negotiated from a guy that I bought the one in Montgomery, Alabama from him. and
Right.
that's the one that's sidelined. So he did seller finance on that deal, and it was a great deal. And we kind of counted on the wrong operator, essentially. Uh, Long story, but anyway, that was his 10th or so senior living flip. Okay. And the property we bought in Montgomery was a 64 unit senior living community, right?
Okay.
So he happened to have another one in Pittsburgh that was 52 units. And so he cut me another deal and we negotiated a seller finance thing. So
Mm.
two core partners in senior living and one of them brought a national operator to the table. This is right on the heels of kind of messing up in Montgomery.
Right.
We we went with a husband and wife team that had a lot of experience in independent living, but they just didn't have the whole game plan, you know. Um, so he found a national operator, a guy with 25 years and 50 turnarounds to his name, kind of thing, and whole team, and brought him to the table to be the operator. And then my other partner, JD Singh, brought Rod Cleef to the table and his
Okay.
Cree Capital group. So a few guys, one guy that underwrites, another guy that does the business planning, and Rod Cleef. So and they raised all the capital, and they raised like 1.8 million in about 5 days.
Mm.
With two or three webinars, just boom, they were done. And they had people stacked up at the door. So um, they got kind of they got their shorts in a bunch about some stuff going down to closing, and they got really pissed off at the seller. And in my view, was completely unfounded. And what it told me is how you've heard me talk about win-win, and just that's what drives me. I think there's enough equity and money in commercial real estate that everyone should be able to walk away with some kind of smile on their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just got to seek for what that is. And true partnerships and win-win are all about finding that. But when you find somebody that'll throw you under the bus instead of to get a better side of the deal, then look out for you, then that kind of shows where they're buttered, where their bread's buttered. And frankly, he just turned out to be a dick. They really turned up the contrast and were whiny bitches is what it turned out to be.
Mm.
And and then they sort of accused me of, you know, hey man, you're on his side or our side, right? It's like, don't do that again. Fuck you, people, right? You just dissed my dude that I negotiated this with, and he's got other deals behind that. So don't give me that line of garbage. I don't know. I don't diss people, but I'm reacting to what happened. And the way they reacted just told me how small-minded and petty they were about the whole thing. So how selfish they were, really. So
Mm.
it just
Now,
kind of, it painted it for me. It's kind of like, okay, I won't do guanother deal with you
gosh, now don't go out here. I know you're kind of radical a little bit, but don't go out here burning too many bridges.
guys.
Good Lord, man.
Rod
God.
Cleef. Yeah, burn a bridge with Rod Cleef. But
Oh God.
that's the way it is.
You know what, I don't know these guys personally. I want to say I'm Facebook friends with the Rod Cleef guy, but it's
Mm,
just all in the how can I say, real estate community. You just
yeah,
kind of come
right.
across people. There's so many people though.
Oh, it's astounding how big a community it really is. Yeah.
Right,
So
right, right.
very interesting.
Well, you're navigating through it very, very, very good, very well,
Oh
so.
gosh, I have some sleepless nights. It's not all roses.
Oh
But
yeah, I can tell you. So tell me more about what you mean, Montgomery, Alabama is sidelined. Tell me some pain points, because typically
oh gosh.
value is typically added where pain points exist.
Uh, I paid about $13,500 to a legal team 2 weeks ago to forestall foreclosure on the property. A vendor who had done some work for us. you know, kept billing us, went to court, got an order, you know, for a
Oh,
lien property. And my partners were like, hey man, we're trying to sell it, when we sell it, we'll settle. And it's like my name was on it and they were coming at me. And I'm like, dudes, I can't do this. That's not how I operate, you know? So I need you guys to help me. And well, they couldn't this time. So that happened a couple of weeks ago. And then last week,
wow. So you had to pay it.
put
You had to put
another
it. You had to foot the bill yourself.
I had to put another 6,500 into it to pay the mortgage. So the three of us are splitting the mortgage. I pay about 60% of it, you know. So and these operators have completely shirked their duty. So they're large equity owners and they're not paying for the mortgage. So we're trying to forestall. Yeah. So, I mean, this one has me up at night.
What, the one in Montgomery?
Yeah. So here's the thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. How could did you have any type of like appointee clauses or something like that in place when the
Oh,
operator is not performing?
sure, there's all kinds of stuff there, and basically we shut the business down and their equity is definitely getting reduced. But the reality is, we've had it for sale since about January. We've had a number of people come take a look, but nobody's really bid yet. I think, we're not too far off what the market would bear, but if we sell it at that, we're probably going to lose a little bit. So that's unfortunate.
Was the
But
Montgomery the seller finance deal?
yes, now I'm on good terms with him. And as recently as last week, I confirmed that he'll recast the loan if we need to, right? He'll work with us. He's not, you know, my loan is up in September, so I'm actually starting to hunt for a loan. So
Do
I'm
you
looking
do you
for,
want to sell or not want to sell?
well, I'd love to sell them. The problem is don't have any buyer. So
Oh,
what
okay. So
we got
you
to
wanna
do,
you
well,
wanna sell. You
I
wanna
need a
sell.
plan.
You
Yeah,
don't
I
wanna
mean,
operate it and make you wanna get
I
out
would,
of this
I'll
thing.
be honest with you. I wouldn't mind operating it, but my partners have lost all their will. The run we took at it, it didn't work. Has them going, ugh, I'm done, right?
During the meantime, while it's not operating and you just have it for sale, do you think that it could potentially uh sell it faster if it was operating, if
Hell
it was
yes.
cash flowing?
Hell yes. Hell yes. That's a big yes. It would.
Okay.
Yes, it would.
Okay. Do you think that you could potentially get, like, if you had an operator? Because I
Oh
have a
yeah.
banker. I have a
I
banker that's in that area, but I don't know if he will even take on something like that. But he
well,
potentially,
look,
I don't
this is
know.
what I'm in the middle of trying to figure out is a loan package. I've got actually half a dozen lenders in senior living who are all pretty creative, gotten to know them pretty well. And here's the thing, it's 3.2 acres. It's five separate parcels.
Hmm.
There are four residential buildings, each 16 units with its own industrial kitchen. So it's 64 unit campus. And on one of those properties with one of the residences, it's got a uh, like a 1,500 square foot single family home, but that includes the garage space. So actually it's probably smaller than that, 1,200 square feet. Anyway, it could be like a one bedroom apartment. It could be an administrator office, storage in the garage, that kind of thing, right? So in any case, it's got one vacant parcel and it's located in I've been told it's a second or third nicest area of Montgomery. It's undergoing gentrification like a lot of places are, right? But this place, you know, has a Publix supermarket right across the driveway. And in the outlot, they built a Starbucks last year. So it's literally 100 feet from the western edge. There's a park right down the street. They built a bunch of restaurants across the street. So it's in a pretty nice little area. We were going to run it as independent living. We've got the first building completely rehabbed. The issue is that So we paid 1.4 million for it for 64 units. And uh, the issue is that the summer before we bought it, thugs took out the copper, which was all in the attic, right? The water
Oh
supplies
man.
and the electricity. So they busted through the roof and through the ceiling and all that stuff. So they made a hell of a mess. Um, so it's about 350K per unit, or 350K per building to rehab. So we put the money into the first one, got it all up and running, opened our doors, ran out of money, went out of business, but proved that the market is there, proved that the demand is there. Since then, I've met a great operator, and he and I have sort of teamed up and torn apart half dozen deals. And he's a 4 decade veteran in assisted living and memory care.
Mm,
He used to work in Montgomery many, many years ago. So
okay.
he's not opposed to doing it again. He lives up here in the Northwest, but he's worked in 21 states and he's done a ton of turnarounds and he's an
Wow.
outstanding operator. So he's been
Wow.
for a very
Wow.
long
How
time.
did you find him? That sounds like
I
you found
found
a
him at
sniper.
I found him at a senior living conference and we signed up for this SaaS software that is it's like a resident portal for senior living. It's called Alice, Assisted Living Integrated System. So it's got like, it's the entire care portal for each resident. So it's their care plan, their assessments, memory care. It's got a digital pillbox. It's got, like a family video portal. It's got secure way to upload and download invoices. It automatically invoices, debits rent, does the collection. So it's like the full spectrum resident sort of portal. And when I went to the senior conference last fall, I was just hanging with that software team. They invited me over, so we sat and had a drink. And then I got to know the guy who was the CTO, yeah, I guess he's a CTO, software engineer. That's what I am. So we kind of hit it off and he told me all about that stuff. And he said, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm looking for operators because I got this property in Montgomery. So later in the conference, man, he tapped me on the shoulder and gave me this guy's card. And he said, you should go meet this guy. He's one of the best operators. And turns out he also uses Alice and is one of their oldest customers. So Warren has been using Alice for like 15 years and is one of the
Oh, so
early.
Alice been around. It's not like
Alice has been around for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
okay.
it's been a really cool tool, and my
Yeah.
team is really starting to.
But you didn't invest in the actual software. You invest in the software as a user.
No, that's right. Just to buy it and use it in your business, it gives you the ability to do business intelligence. You can mine your business and look for patterns and.
Right, right. And it's more for like private pay,
Yeah, it could work.
hospitality.
It could work for Medicare and Medicaid as well, and Medicaid, I should say. But yeah, we're all private pay. We're trying to stay private pay focused. I had some Medicaid, but man, getting licensed with the state after purchase, the previous owner's license ran out, and we couldn't get the state to hump on ours, and we're paying. We had inherited about 8 residents from the previous owner uh, who she never qualified for
Wow,
Medicaid,
wow.
and they're paying like really low numbers.
Yeah. I have
Like,
my Medicaid provider license, but in Florida.
oh,
Yeah.
you do? Oh, that's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Now,
Yeah.
Medicaid provider now, is that a senior
Well,
kind of deal?
it's a home health care agency, so
Home
I can
health
have
care. Okay,
group
I see.
homes,
I
but
see.
once you have that license, it's easier to expand over to,
Oh, I bet it
like
is. Yeah.
assisted living facilities and larger scale
Interesting.
type of
Oh,
licensing. Yeah. It's like
well,
once you
hell,
have your foot in the door, you know,
yeah, you kind of have a
yeah.
greased stance a little bit. Well, so here I am talking about me all the time. Tell me more about your crossroads. What,
Oh Lord, I
you know,
don't know if I want to put that on film right now, but
well, you don't have to.
no,
You
no,
don't have
no, yeah, no, I'm
to.
just at a crossroad where, real estate just been slow. It's been so slow,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, I've been considering just going another route for a couple of years, you
Tell
know.
me what you've been doing in real estate
Well, honestly, with real estate, it's not only real estate, it's also that I've been watching my kids during the daytime because
oh,
daycare
this
is
is
so
tough.
high for one.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like 1,200 per child, and
I got you.
I
I got
over cloned myself, you know. So I have too many, and yep, so I try to do stuff
So
at
you don't
night.
have time
I do
during
a
the
lot of,
day.
you know,
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
shouldn't really even say programming. I should just say, coding basically with same thing, coding with AI during the
Oh,
daytime.
I
So I've been
see.
doing a lot of website building, and
I
I,
see.
I still collect income from rental property that I have, and deals that I'm in the middle of and stuff. So money still comes in. It's just God, it's not flowing like it used to. Gosh, it's really not. It's so
I got to tell you, I'm barely cash flowing right now with my deals because they're all value adds, right? They're all heading in the right direction. And over the last year or two, it's been just like steady, steady, steady growth. So I see light at the end of the tunnel. But for all the work I've put in, I'm not making a ton of income. So it's a slow train, right? But
yeah, I
if you've
know.
been planting
I
these,
honestly always felt like that the value adds were just like a little scary, for
um,
me. For me,
you're
I'm
right.
just saying a lot of people, it's the holy grail. But for me, it's like, uh, it's the extra, it would be the extra cream on the cake for me,
I hear you.
more so than the actual cake.
It does. It, I have to say that I've tempered my view. My view had always been, oh, I'll go by deep value add, right? And I'll turn around deep value adds and create that value. Well, it's hard. It really is
It
hard
is.
to
It's
take a
like
big and build it
you're
down.
lifting up a building. You like
Oh,
lifting it up.
terrible, right?
And
And so better off to find a business that's already operating, that's already got income, but needs fixing, right? It's like their operations are inefficient
I,
or somebody screwed something up or you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
And better
yeah.
marketing,
A
whatever
seller
it is.
just needs to get out.
That's
The
right.
seller just
That's
needs
right.
to get out. It's a little more cherry picking, but I think that at the end of the day, it'll be a little less, you know, uh, heart attack prone. Like it's like man, like no, I, I'm serious, man. It's like just even the small deals. Like I got this one deal, and this guy he paid me monthly, but it's like, gosh, I have to chase him down, and it's just
Oh,
peanuts to me,
it's
and
a
and I'm
painful,
just like, I mean, everything counts, so peanuts even
painful
count,
income.
but it's still peanut is a peanut, at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and gosh, and sometimes I think to myself, why can't I just like find some intellectual property that has
Mm,
a great moat and
pays you back a little bit.
just get royalties,
Mm,
you know, whether it could be a patent, trademark, a song, I don't care, but just something that's a little bit more, have a little bit more passivity, with it,
yeah, no kidding.
unless unless I just had the capital to play with. It's really all about the capital. If you
Well,
have the capital,
it's true that capital opens tons of doors. You know, it really does. It gives you options, is what it does. The lack of capital narrows your options. Doesn't close them off, but man, it
it,
makes it harder.
it
And
makes it harder.
look, you and I can both argue maybe that's exponentially harder. You know, I wouldn't disagree there. But at the same time, you know, you hearing about well, you hear it in the senior living thing too, but like 10,000 people are retiring a day with the baby boomers now, right? And it
Right,
turns out there's a large number of those who own businesses, right?
right.
And it's not like they're awesome businesses. I mean, not all of them are, but some of them are incredible business, and they've got no one to give the business to, no one to sell it to.
I know,
And
I
so
know.
we're kind of in this one-time inflection over the next, I'd say 10 years, maybe, where there's this transfer of wealth that could occur, right? To go find a business. And now we'll get back to the capital that you need, right? There are SBA loan programs that'll pay 90% of a business cost. And then if you've got the right seller, have them motivated enough to help carry part of the
Right,
purchase. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And sometimes those things work out where it's like, holy cow, you can step into a business for not very much, if at all, right? And
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard people
yeah.
doing those
I,
and
I
they're
studied SBA Ray on YouTube. I don't know if you, but
okay. I
he's
haven't seen that one, but I
you
bet
haven't seen
it's
SBA Ray?
instructive.
Yeah, he actually has an office in Florida. I have his number. I haven't called him yet, but he's probably the most how can I informative YouTube guy
Oh,
on
that's
YouTube.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
talking every single he's an SBA lender and his name SBA Ray, but he's very informative, very detailed about every single thing that's going on with the SBA. Lately I haven't really been on top of him as much as I would like to and as much as I used to. A lot of it is too, I think I really just want to bring a deal to somebody that can close,
Oh, right,
because
right.
that's what I'm
I
trying to
hear
do.
you.
I'm trying to do the bow. I see
Yeah.
you've been pulling it off. You've been bringing the deals and
It's
finding.
hard to carry, man. And I got to say, on this one, so we just closed on an RV park last week, and it was on Monday. And I had to bring some capital to the table. Now, I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate in that my day job has evolved. I mean, I've been in software for years, software engineering for 20 years, and then I moved into architecture, for computers and servers. Worked for Intel for a long, long time,
Yeah, I know.
and
And then
then
now you said AMD.
worked for a little company. Now I work for AMD, and the stock has just been off the charts. And so I started there. They acquired my company a year ago, March, and the stock was $100 a share when I came in the door, $102, and it closed on Friday at $514. Right.
Mm,
So the stock has just blown through the roof. So during that first year, I got a grant of stock, a big chunk of stock that is now mine, right? And so, I mean, that's part of coming on board. And so I've sold some of that, and basically I'm trading what could be very large, explosive stock growth for income. So I sold some of it, and I'm using some of it to invest in as a, let's just call it capital partner, but I'm also managing bringing the deal to the table. So basically, I was half of the deal finder and acquisition piece. I brought the earnest money, I brought the risk capital,
mm,
I signed on the loan, you know, did all the stuff, did the business planning, underwriting, right? Brought the team together,
mm.
did all the legal stuff to set up the joint venture agreement, the lawyers, you know what I mean? So all those earn a slice of equity, right?
Right,
And
right. That's a man. You just hit it on the nail. That was a great checklist.
the
Right.
trick,
I'm gonna have to
well,
rewatch this video. What time frame was
the
that
trick
right there? 'Cause
is,
that was a great check. Okay,
well,
9:43. That was
I'll I'll share that with you. I can list it all for you,
Oh yeah,
I've
man, happy
done
birthday too. Oh my God. I got it. Yeah. Yeah, we hey, happy birthday. Good gosh,
just
happy
one more
birthday
trip around the
over
sun,
and
right?
over again, I yeah, yeah.
No, I'm glad to meet with you, man. So yeah, over time I've developed this I call it a merit-based equity matrix. And it's like equity splits between the partners who are involved. And how do you know how much to give everybody, right?
Mm,
And in most deals, there's like three or four roles that really stand out, and they
right.
get most of the equity. But the problem is there's a ton of work that goes in that doesn't have anything to do with those four positions, right? So usually the guy that signs the loan gets a big chunk of equity. The guy that brings capital to the table gets a chunk of equity. The guy that asset manages and then the guy that finds the deal, you know.
Right.
But there's a lot of other slices in there. So I built this matrix that kind of tries to identify those and then put it on rows, right? And what has every person done in each one of those, right? And sort of throw a number in there,
Yeah.
allocate so much percent of the equity across each one of those bits of work, and then, allocate that to the partners, right? So using that, I've come to realize that,
Just to interject real quick, and then you can
yeah,
keep going. You should allow me to build a software based around that. So go ahead, but
oh,
keep going, keep going.
maybe, yeah, maybe it could. Yeah. Yeah, I like that you're thinking about software. There's lots of stuff you could try to systematize here. Uh, in any case, all I'm saying is using that, I came to realize how I've come to structure my deals is partly based on who I am because I spent 3 or 4 decades working on single family houses, right?
Mm,
Just swinging a hammer at night because I don't sit well, you know what I mean? So it's like
right.
do software in the day and swing a hammer at night. And just never really planned, never really knew somebody that knew how to guide me. I made equity, I built equity over those years, but I didn't grow it over 30 years the way you would think people that know what they're doing in real estate. You know what I mean? What
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ended up with is
Me
kind
neither.
of
Me neither. To a certain degree, I feel like that too.
I've kind of reacted as much as I've steered, you know what I mean? And so it took me until a few years ago, several years ago, to go, man, this isn't working, right? So that's when I jumped into commercial real estate. And as I began to understand how to underwrite and realize that if I jump in early on every deal, like I love the deal finding. So finding a deal and then underwriting it and finding like that diamond in the rough, that's a hell of a lot of fun for me. So I spend time doing that. And it just turns out that if you do it right and you do the tasks that are all needed before you close, then you can accumulate a ton of equity before you ever even hit closing. And you don't even have to manage it. If you got the right partners who will manage it for you, then I've got a big chunk of every deal because of the early groundwork I did to bring it to the table. You see
Mm,
what I mean? So that's my strategy.
mm.
When I say part of who I am means for 30 years, right? If my project was here in town, you couldn't keep me away. I'd go by there every day. So I found myself working in my business instead of on my business. And the blessing that came in surprise, the hidden secret I never realized was that I can invest in properties and real estate that's out of town, that I don't have it in my backyard. So I can't go there. But for that, I need trusty partners. But as long as I got trusty partners, then doing all the work up front and having those trusty partners manage that thing on the ground, that's the recipe I'm seeking for my scalability. And that's both in RV parks and in senior living. So what I'm saying is much of that equity that I earn, I don't have to put any money in the deal at all. It takes a lot of time, though, to go through the iterations needed to find that great deal, and they're coming. Darius, I'm here to tell you, deals are coming. We're entering a period where fuel costs are going to go through the roof, and we're going to have an awful lot of disruption in our society. And I think there are going to be lots of opportunities, but you should be aware that fuel costs are about to go through the roof in midsummer. It could affect food distribution, you know what I mean? And grocery stores. So just keep that in mind. It's uh, I'm telling people I know about it. It just feels like that's where things are heading with this Iranian situation with no, the oil all shut down. So um, keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You actually remind me of about AMD. all the time. I think about it, and somebody else mentioned the other day. I say, "Dang, that bro was mentioning about that AMD," and
I got lucky. I really did. I've been
yeah, yeah,
in
but it's not over. They're gonna continue to grow, so I need to make sure I have it in my portfolio. Um,
well, I, I believe they'll be around for a long time. Yeah, I think they have lots of room to grow. They're they're a distant second behind Nvidia in the GPU race, but AI is here to stay, and there's a billions of investment. I can just tell you, both inside AMD and outside AMD, going on to build the hardware for that stuff. So, yeah, the AMD is going to be around for a long time in that race. They got nowhere to go but up. The pie is growing, and there's room for
right,
a lot of
right.
entrants. So,
So
yeah.
before the call get off, because I know it looked like it's only about 2 minutes left or so, or 3 minutes. How can I bring a deal? Because everybody say, yeah, you can bring a deal. And I got on forgot what his
Oh,
name is, but I used to get on Zoom calls with a very, very nice Indian gentleman. I don't forgot his name right now off the top of my head, but he was very nice. I know he had deals, he had some doors. But it just seemed
is
like
that
we just
Arun? Arun Santhanam?
you said who?
Arun? Was he from MFMIM?
Yeah,
Okay, maybe Arun or Harish Yar was
I
another guy.
can't remember. He was in Texas. He was in Texas.
Oh, yeah, Arun is in Dallas.
He was in Texas. I don't.
Maybe.
Unless you're saying the first name and the last name, I kind of recognize more than the first name. But
Gotcha. Yeah.
that doesn't ring a bell to
Well,
me.
anyway, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
were
But we
trying to
did. Yeah, we
pre-move.
calculated some deals and went through some deals, and some sketched out good, and it just seemed like just never just closed. It's like, gosh, dang, man. Like,
Well, here's the thing, right? Uh,
and I know you got to keep doing it. I know it has to keep going on and
yeah,
on and on.
totally. You understand that. It's a game of numbers, really, and
Right.
iterations. And the more you do, and the better you get at it. So this is why I was asking, what have you been doing in real estate? Because there's a tried and true secret, dude. This is millennia old. Okay. There's a tried and true secret for how to find a great real estate deal in any market. Okay. And I'm here to tell you, if you put enough effort into it, you'll find one. All right. And here's how that works. Are we about to run out of time?
It's 1 minute left.
Okay. You find a market that you like. That in itself is a whole thesis, but you find one or more markets you like. You study absolutely everything in that market that's available and you underwrite it, whether it works or not. That underwriting is going to teach you something. So basically, you're familiar with everything on the market. Now you watch new stuff coming on the market. And one day, a unicorn's going to pop up and you're going to end up owning it because you know the quickest what a deal it is. You've
Mm.
already done the work. Now, you know, ready to stand on stage is what it is. Okay. So all that work you do up front, all those iterations, one day, right? One day that unicorn